At the core of being a successful Valorant player is the ability to take and win duels. But what exactly goes into consistently winning your gunfights? And how do the best players in the game take advantage of these victories? In this video, we will provide you with the 7 most important tips to help you not only win more gunfights, but also win more games as a result of them. To win a duel in Valorant, it's important to understand the purpose of the duel you're taking. You want to avoid taking bad fights in the first place, in order to learn when to take risks and when not to. This means taking into account the areas of the map that your duel is helping your team to take control of, as well as any other important utility you may have that your team would need if you were to be eliminated. For example, if you're a controller, your team may rely on your smokes to execute a strategy later in the round. If you were to be eliminated in a duel early on, your team could be at a significant disadvantage. So taking those duels in the first place is a bad decision, since losing it removes options from your team if you were to lose, while also putting you in a bad position to perform your role correctly. By understanding the purpose of the duel you're taking, you can make more informed decisions about when and where to engage the enemy. This can help you to avoid unnecessary risks and increase your chances of winning the duel and securing control of the map for your team. So always look to take a duel that will provide map control to your team or level the playing field for the round. In addition to understanding the purpose of the duel you're taking, it's crucial to communicate the outcome of the fight and what it means to your team. This means that if you win the duel, you should make a decision with your team on what to do next. For example, you might decide to move forward and fight for more space, or retreat to play your advantage and hold your area you just won. Alternatively, you might decide to rotate to where the enemy may have left, in order to catch them off guard and take control of a different area of the map. Having a clear plan after taking duels will help capitalize on the fights won and recover after the fights are lost. On the other hand, if you lose the duel, you need to communicate this to your team as well. This can help your teammates to adjust their strategies and make better decisions about how to proceed. Effective communication is key to making duels you take in Valorant worth taking, as it allows you to work together as a team and make informed decisions about how to approach different situations. By communicating the outcome of your duels and working together to make decisions, you can increase your chances of winning more fights and ultimately securing victory for your team. Oh, and by the way, this is also a topic that Ye, the GOAT of NA, also covers in his brand new course in depth. So if you're interested, you can check that out through our $8 a month ProGuides subscription. In addition to that, you get many other benefits like pro boot camps, a discount on coaching, as well as access to all other courses like the TENS course and future courses that we are currently working on. Having a good understanding of your weapon is critical to winning duels in Valorant. Different weapons excel in different situations, and understanding these situations can help you take fights on your own terms. For close-range fights, SMGs and shotguns are ideal. These weapons deal massive damage at close range and can often kill opponents in just a few shots, and on top of that, they provide more mobility. To set the stage for these fights, use smokes and flashes to close the distance and catch your opponents off guard. You never want to take a Spectre to a long-range duel, you're just asking to lose. While on the flip side, walking into a smoke with your Vandal on the enemy's save round could spell disaster for you. Additionally, you can use run and gun tactics to sway the odds of the fight in your favor. For example, you might try to run around corners while shooting to make it harder for your opponent to hit you. On the other hand, snipers and rifles excel in medium to long ranges. These weapons can deal massive damage at range and are perfect for holding angles and picking off opponents from a distance. To be successful with these weapons, it's important to avoid being too predictable with your duels. Always have a plan to escape or reposition after winning a fight to avoid becoming an easy target for your opponents. By understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your weapons, you can make more informed decisions about when and where to engage in duels. This can help you take fights on your own terms and increase your chances of coming out on top. Now, every single guide about dueling in Valorant will be talking about crosshair placement, but for good reason. Having good crosshair placement is crucial for winning duels in Valorant. Not only does it improve your aim, but it also increases your reaction time, making it easier for you to hit your target. Good crosshair placement can also help you take fights more consistently and improve your ability to fight multiple targets in succession. To improve your crosshair placement, you should look for markings and objects around the map that are at head height. Boxes, lines, and architecture are good places to start, and you should practice placing your crosshair in these positions whenever possible. It's also important to only focus on one angle at a time, as peeking out into multiple enemies can be a death sentence. Pre-aiming common angles through walls is also a fantastic way to improve your crosshair placement. By positioning your crosshair at head height on an angle where an enemy might appear, you can be ready to fire the moment they come into view. This can give you a massive advantage in duels, as you won't need to adjust your aim as much to secure the kill. By focusing on your crosshair placement and practicing it regularly, you can greatly improve your ability to win duels in Valorant, whether you're taking fights head-on or peeking around corners. Good crosshair placement can make all the difference. One of the keys to consistently winning duels in Valorant is making sure there is utility preparation in every duel you take. Depending on what agent you're playing, the way you approach duels is going to be different. Duelists want to use their utility to flash, stun, or outmaneuver the enemy, while controllers want to take duels based off their duelists in a more trade-like fashion. Whatever your role, it's important to make sure that you have the proper utility to give yourself an advantage in every duel. Another crucial aspect of utility preparation is making sure to eliminate as many angles as possible before taking duels on site. For example, if you're taking A site on Heaven, you want to smoke window and maybe dart back site for information. The more information you have, the more you can focus on one gunfight at a time. This can be the difference between a successful take and a failed one. It's also important to know what duels you should be taking in your role. If you're a duelist, ask your team to help you gain as many advantages as possible. If you're a sentinel, only take duels on your own terms and preserve your life so your team has options to move around the map safely. Remember, every duel you take should be calculated and have a specific purpose behind it. Don't take fights just for the sake of taking them. Make sure that you have a plan in mind and you are using your utility effectively. In Valorant, movement is key to winning duels. It's important to learn how to move and counter-strafe properly to make yourself harder to hit while also peeking angles correctly. Counter-strafing is the act of quickly stopping your movement by pressing the opposite direction key and shooting immediately after, which can help you be more accurate in your shots. Improving your movement and counter-strafing can give you a significant advantage in gunfights. To improve your movement and counter-strafing, practice in the shooting range and in deathmatch games. You can also watch professional players to learn from their movement and positioning. Another important aspect of movement is peeking angles correctly. When peeking an angle, you should try to move out quickly and move back into cover just as quickly. This makes it harder for your opponents to hit you and gives you an advantage in the duel. You should also practice strafing back and forth while shooting at a target to improve your movement and accuracy. Additionally, try to incorporate jump peeks and crouch peeks into your gameplay to make yourself even harder to hit. However, be aware that these movements can also make you more vulnerable if you're not careful. The best way to peek angles is to establish a line of sight that you want to peek down and form a strafe line where you can swing out by either pressing the A or D keys. You almost never want to take a fight by pressing W or S since it's extremely hard to stop and you are moving in a straight line in front of the target. The most common problem low elo players have with their movement is the lack of establishing one duel at a time with their movement. Establish a common angle and swing from right to left in order to retain good crosshair placement and solid movement. Overall, improving your movement and counter-strafing can make you a more well-rounded player and give you an edge in gunfights. Keep practicing and experimenting with different movements to see what works best for you. Another important aspect to winning duels in Valorant is knowing when to burst and strafe instead of relying on spraying and crouching. While spraying can be effective in certain situations, it is generally less accurate and harder to control than bursting. Bursting involves firing a short controlled burst of shots, allowing you to maintain accuracy and control over your recoil. Additionally, strafing and moving side to side while shooting can make you harder to hit, and it can give you the advantage over your opponent. To practice bursting and strafing, try to engage in more controlled gunfights where you take your time to line up shots instead of just spraying and praying. Focus on your crosshair placement, burst at the right time, and strafe to avoid enemy fire. It may take some time to get used to, but with practice, you'll find yourself winning more gunfights and becoming a more effective player overall. Patience is key in any gunfight in Valorant. While it may be tempting to panic and spray your weapon when you see an enemy, controlled bursts with good aim are often more effective. You have way more time than you think you might, especially in lower elos. When you are in a duel, focus on hitting your shots rather than quickly trying to spray down your opponent. This means being disciplined with your trigger finger and only firing in short, accurate bursts. Ultimately, staying calm and composed in a gunfight can make all the difference. Take your time, focus on accuracy, and don't panic when things get intense. With practice, you'll learn how to burst and strafe effectively, and you'll find that this technique leads to more consistent wins in your duels. The final tip to winning every duel is to practice in aim trainers like AimLab. This will help you with overall mouse control, consistency, and your ability to react and switch between targets. By practicing exercises like 6-shot, you can improve your ability to perfect the small movements necessary when swinging angles and taking duels. Aim trainers can also help you train your muscle memory for different types of weapons, so that way you can react faster and make more accurate shots in the heat of the moment. With consistent practice in aim trainers, you can gain an edge in gunfights and increase your chances of coming out on top. And those are our 7 best tips to turning every gunfight into a win. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any content in the future.